Hello everyone, welcome to next video. And this is just mostly, video about update about my book. So what you do actually when you want to either make it better your skills in realistic drawing, or you would like to learn realistic drawing. Of course, most would respond that you have to take courses and so on, so on. Yeah, sure. You can take a courses, but each course is going to cost you, and I don't know how it's in the other parts of the world, but in Canada, we have approximately $500 less or more. So, and you have to take one course is not going to solve your problem unless of learning, unless you do it, you have plenty of time, and every day you're going to practice during the 10 sessions of 2 to 3 hours. It depends what kind of course you're taking and where. And, it's not enough. So maybe after one course, you're going to be actually settle well, you're going to kind of, master the skills which are necessary for commercial drawing. Realistic skills, of course, of drawing is for commercial art. That means that you can offer the services after to various companies, yes, which need such services like storyboarding, a lot of that. This is, capabilities and advertising agencies, cinema, video games, etc., 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 character designs, whatever you want to do, interior, exterior and design, and so on, so on. Whatever the profession, be architect, for example, whatever profession you're going to choose from those commercial ones, of course, you need to have the skills, yes, and realistic drawing skills are essential skills to really be professional artist and be able to offer all kind of services to your clients. So as I mentioned already, you need at least one course, and most of the time you need at least 3. So if each costs approximately, $1,500, less or more, and still you need to be, of course, present in the course, because if you're not, you're losing the session, and so on and so on. There's many advantages and disadvantages, but you should always take a course, of course, yes. But if the course is finished, you don't have much things left. Meanwhile, if you buy my book, it is actually entire course of realistic drawing skills. And is done in such a way that you have a little bit history, a little bit, each step of learning realistic drawing skills, like coordination exercises, like measuring, like, drawing in proportions, like, perspective. I explore all kind of perspective, like the basic ones, like 1, 2, 3 vanishing points. I explain you what is, axonometric, isometric drawing, and what is curvilinear perspective, yes. So after you have also, portraits, and before you draw portraits, you need to, of course, know how to draw eye, nose, lips, and ears, and hairs, and there's many things to really acquire before you can start really drawing the portraits. Yes, I meant in realistic ways, because I'm not talking about artistic ways when you can draw whatever. Yes, it's a different story. But if you want to be, and if you want to draw anything you would like to draw, which is represents the reality of form, you have to know how to do it, isn't it? So after is the human form, of course. Yes, so also I show step by step what kind of human form is staying, sitting, laying down, all kind of positions, what to do with it, how to get this right. And furthermore, in addition to all what you need to know in order to learn realistic drawing skills, I also added here anamorphic drawing, how to create anamorphic illusion of 3D, okay, on the surface, from the surface of 2D. So it's very simple. All my explanations are very simple, yes, so everybody can actually understand. And also I added a little bit, basic elements, how to transfer normal realistic drawing face into caricature. So you have really set of everything, and as I mentioned, everything is explained step by step, and you cannot, actually miss anything there. You have the basic, information about learning the drawing skills. So even if the book is sometimes the cost of shipping is like 2 times more than the book cost, it's still worth it, because if you take if you take the cost of the courses you have to take in order to learn the skills or make it better, it's going to be really, very economic in many ways. You can save a lot of money. And if you sit on this book and you follow from one page to the other, do all the exercises I'll ask, if you spend like 1, 2, 3 months, go through this book, you will have really a lot of information, but you have to be, of course, practicing. That's nothing going to help you, either the book, either the courses you take, nothing going to help you if you do not have time to practice. In learning, whatever you learn, you need to spend some time on it. And at the beginning, it's a little bit hard, but after more you understand, more you kind of, see the progress, that your lines are straighter, then the forms gets better in proportions, and so on, so on. You're much more, of course, going to be, encouraged to continue, and finally you're going to get to the 100% mastering the realistic drawing skills. And then you can choose whatever career you want from the professional ones, commercial ones. So I'm going to show you a little bit in the video, less or more, what it is kind of, about in this book and so on. So the choice, of course, is yours, and you consider what is the right, thing to do. But it is really a very short way and very economic way to learn realistic drawing skills. You have everything in this publication. So what you're going to find in my book, of course, at the beginning, you have a little bit history about drawing, yes, and you're going to, of course, have, for the first is, of course, the coordination of your hand. So first of all, with the, free-handed way, the hand not on the paper, because you're going to make the drawings always dirty, but in the air, yeah, you will have to kind of learn how to do, of course, a series of straight lines, vertically, horizontally, diagonally, of any angle, whatever you need it. That's one thing. You have to learn how to, from one gesture, draw approximately all kind of ellipses, all kind of angles. Of course, you're going to have also, you're going to train yourself in drawing squares, rectangles, yes, which the kind of forms you're going to need it, especially for the perspective and so on. And of course, you're going to have all kind of calligraphic exercises, which you would kind of go through, yes, and you're going to try to kind of, retrace them back after and so on, yes, without, of course, stopping, a drawing on the paper. So you don't do something like this and like this. No, you continue all the time, the coordination, and also backwards, yes, and you do not getting out. Anyway, there's many things regarding the coordination exercises in the book. You can make it yourself much more comfortable with the gestural lines, whatever you're going to have to, of course, do in order to start really learning to draw, because the realistic drawing skills, if you want to start to learn, first you have to work on your hand. Your hand needs to be flexible and needs to be able to do what you wish the hand to do, isn't it? So you don't go and kind of, try to sculpture do kind of sculpture of the circles, but you go in not like this, like that, like that, like that. That's kind of, annoying. You have to be able to do either small, either larger, yes, or ellipses, or all kinds, much more flattened, much more, larger and everything. What is the real ellipses and everything? All this information you're going to find in, of course, in my book, and many of them actually. And the next one, of course, you have to start draw in proportion, isn't it? Proportion is the most difficult thing to learn, because even serious artists have problem with it. So it, meanwhile, it's very easy if you do this right. So I'm going to show you exactly what the measurement, how you use the measurement, how to take the measurements. And so you're going to draw this bottle, for example, as you see it, not as you think it is. Yeah, so you can, some you're going to draw this bottle that way. Yes. Okay, some going to draw this bottle that way. Yes. Well, it's artistic way of drawing bottles. Yes. If you learn, if you follow me, exactly this part regarding the proportions very well explained in the book. So you're going to be able really to draw this bottle, not as you think it is, but as it really is, isn't it? Yes. So you're going to have kind of, instructions to do this bottle approximately closer to realistic shapes, as close as possible. Yes. So that's one thing. Another thing to learn, of course, going to be acquire perfect knowledge of perspectives and all kind of perspectives. So, for example, one vanishing point perspective, yes, okay. Then you have horizontal line, of course, and you're going to have two vanishing point perspective, and you're going to have three vanishing point perspective, yes, this way or that way, yes. And in addition to the perspective, which I explained really very well, how to draw all kind of, different ways in perspective, 1, 2, and 3 vanishing points. And also you're going to have what? Curvilinear perspective. What it means, you can draw, imagine drawing from the inside of the sphere, yeah, okay, from the inside of the sphere, okay, or you can also draw on the outside of the sphere. Yes. So if you have, for example, vanishing points, yes, over there, and you kind of, connect them curvilinearly, because why curvilinearly? Because you have sphere, isn't it? So everything is rounded there. And then you have, in this case, you have only one vanishing point, and the third vanishing point is only one, is in the middle of the sphere. And whatever you want to draw around, yes, is going to be approximately, you're going to follow the conversion lines and everything, yes, and you can draw whatever you like, yes, okay, whatever you like, this way, yes. So if you go there, for example, you're going to have the shortenings much more drastic and so on. So anyway, this is very well explained, and also I'm using the curvilinear perspective in all kind of deformations you can create, and not only architectural one, but also of course human one or animal, whatever you want. So the next step will be, of course, or maybe one from the first also, is to simply learn how to apply shadings. Yes, because shading you have to learn first of all from, is depend the direction of the light, what kind of lights we have, and what's going to happen if you put exposed, for example, egg to this light coming from that direction. It depends, of course, what kind of light you're going to project. But anyway, you will learn that, and of course, when the light is hitting, is from the other side, or is from that side, or is from the profile. So you're going to have, of course, different core shadows there. And I'm going to show you all kind of techniques of application of the core shadows, yes? So that's going to be all kind of, techniques, cross-hatchings of all kinds, and so on, yes? So you're going to learn these things, in order to get, very nice, either realistic or, artistic, shadings, yes? So there's all kind of, cross hatchings. Yeah, you have this kind of, which you go straight, and crossing is after this way and this way, this way, this way, this way. You can also follow the forms with the lines. Yes, so you can kind of go and follow the forms, and you can also use, of course, you can use also, much more realistic shading. So for example, you put some medium somewhere, yes, and you can, for example, take a paper or the paper stack, and with this you can go and make it much more realistic, of course, skills, much more realistic projection of the shadows, yes, also on the base, yes. So you can kind of very briefly create all kind of, forms of shading applications. So, regarding portraiture, of course, you will have to learn first before you do portrait. You have to learn how to draw eyes. Yes, one eye, for example, another eye. Yes, so you have to learn these things. Yes, first, what is the principles of drawing good eye? What is the proportion of it, the forms of it? I have all this, explained in the book. How to draw the nose. Yes, there are certain ways of drawing the nose, isn't it? Yes, so you can kind of go through. Of course, in the book is everything perfectly explained. And also you have to learn how to draw lips, isn't it? Yes, so you can go there and make the lips approximately. You have to know how to, which lines to put it well in order to get, perfect human form. So, furthermore, you have to also learn what are the proportions of the head, yes? So if you draw head in front, for example, yes, if you draw a head from the profile, so there is, I'm using the Renaissance way of drawing and studying the faces and so on. If you do half profile, of course, you also have to learn how to do it. Yes, so for example, half profile would be there. So you're going to have approximately another ellipse here, perpendicularly make. And of course, you have divisions. Divisions are everywhere the same, for the eyes, for example, yeah, this nose, lips, and so on and so on. Okay, and the same going to be here. Eye, eyebrows, nose, lips, this, and ear. And of course, you're going to have here one eye, another eye, eyebrows, nose, lips, yes, and so on. Okay, so before you really start drawing the portraiture, because you have to go through the stages. And when we get to the human form, of course, you have to learn the proportions of human form, isn't it? And once you learn the head, you know how to deal after with the rest of it, isn't it? So you will really learn, how to, apply kind of geometric perception of, different, of course, canons of proportions, isn't it? Yes. So you're going to go through all these stages. It is explaining very well, step by step, so we can kind of go and make it, for example, the human form. You can build the human form either from your own imagination or from observations. Yes. So it's very well explained everything in my book. What and how you should draw, what are the proportions of the forms, and so on. So of course, you're going to learn how to draw the foot, how to draw the knees, how to draw the legs, arms, hands, and everything. Because before you start drawing human form, seated, standing, or laying down, and so on, you have to first learn, of course, how to draw the legs, arms, torso, head, yes, hands, yes. So there's many things you have to go through, and I am explaining this perfectly well in the book. And in addition to it, of course, I am explaining also how to draw vegetation forms. Yes. So for example, let's say you have a leaf or something. Yes. Yes, you have to understand the form always. If you have something like this, yes, so if the light is coming from there, you're going to have core shadows somewhere, on the upper part here, and another going to be following somewhere over here, isn't it? Yes. And you have one leaf. Of course, you can have different leaves here. Yeah, so it depends what kind of leaves you're going to have it and what kind of vegetation you're going to do it. Or for example, grass. Yeah, you can kind of go and draw the grass, how to draw the grass. Everything is perfectly explained there. Yeah, in my book. Yes, so you're going to kind of go through this stuff and everything. And if you practice what I am telling you, you're going to draw perfectly. Either the trees, for example. Yes, all kind of trees. What you have to look for if you draw the trees. Yes, so all this you're going to find in my book. Okay, all kind of trees. Yes, rounded trees, whatever. How to shape them, the crowns and everything, how to shape the trees in order to make this much more realistic, of course, in your sketches or in your drawings. So all this is, of course, in my book. And in addition to it, I am giving you also instructions how to create anamorphic art. So what it means, it creates illusion. When you put the paper down on the table, you're going to be actually making the person or animal, whatever, standing up from this paper, yes, when you take a picture of it, yes. So you're going to have form, standing from your paper up, yes. As you do, there's many painters and drawers do kind of illusion work, isn't it? So you have some kind of shadow there, some kind of shadow there. So you can create illusions. I am explaining you how to do it in this book. And of course, also in addition to to all this, what I just already mentioned, you're going to have, of course, when you draw, for example, realistic drawing skills, less or more, yes. So we go there, you draw kind of some kind of person there, yeah, with the eyebrows, whatever, nose, yeah, lips, and so on. And maybe you go with the head. Now you're going to do it some kind of head, here and there. Okay, let's say you have some kind of face of this kind, yes, and you want to draw caricature of this. Of course, I'm going to show you there what you should actually do in order to get this caricature, yeah, what kind of form and when to exaggerate in order to make it kind of somebody look funny, yes. So you can kind of make big eyes, for example, yes, can have smaller nose, but you can have bigger mouth and so on, yes, and eyebrows, eyebrows and maybe bigger ears or something. So I am explaining you what you should kind of look in, creating caricatures, what kind of forms you can use it in order to kind of caricaturize, the person you have it. So you have some kind of, hair there and there, so we can kind of exaggerate even the hairs there and there and there, yes, in order to get kind of caricature of somebody. Okay, so there is, of course, some other, you have gallery of sketching, which I show a lot of examples of how to do it and so on and so on. So there's really many things to discover in my book. And so the choice, of course, is yours. In addition to all of it, of course, you're going to draw also, how to draw in perspective, but bigger form, larger form, how to create the lines. So the perspective going to correspond less or more, to a realistic one. Yeah. So you're going to learn how to actually construct any kind of form. Doesn't matter. It's airplane, car, whatever, buildings, and so on and so on. To architecture, I consecrate quite a lot of space there and the perspectives as well. But any kind of construction of any form, yes, you have to know the process, how to do it. Yes. So if you want to draw a car or something, you have to learn from where, which part goes and so on. Yeah. So for example, you have bumper here. From there, you have the front mask. You are actually find this, where's the nose of the car coming, how it goes, and you have to follow from these lines here and there. Everything is a little bit rounded, yeah, it's a little bit rounded there. You find these roundnesses, you find these nuances of the car, how to make it, yes, very kind of, efficiently, because everything is explained in this book, and you can kind of draw approximately less or more, the car quite convincingly and very easy, using, of course, perspective and how to construct, yes, the form from what you start and all the processes, how you should, do it. The most emphasis I am actually giving to drawing in proportions, yes. So at the end of the book, you have some kind of galleries with all my kind of teaching sketches in classes I teach and everything, yeah. And you're going to learn how to draw, for example, one part in proportion, let's say another, let's say there's some kind of rose or something, yeah. So you just go there, and how to create this kind of, much more realistic shapes of, the vegetation, how to draw vegetation, how to draw really, a grass, how to draw the tree, what you have to look for, and I explained a lot of things regarding the core shadows. Yes, core shadows, actually, without core shadows you cannot create the dimensionalities. So I have different, I'm showing that different forms of application of core shadows, yes, and how it works, where the darker lines, where the lighter lines. You have also The core shadow also, if you draw the leaves or something, they also going to exist. Yes, it depends the form of the leaf. So you're going to have it kind of, core shadows in there, this little bit tonized there, little bit tonized there, and then how you gain actually the dimensionality of the leaf, the form. Of course, the leaf might be much more complex, elements in there. Yeah, you might have some kind of veins there, and there. Anyway, you're going to get plenty of information about how to construct, first of all, in good proportion. That is the most complex form. Many artists suffer with this kind of things because they draw, but they draw not what is really there, but what they think is there. And they draw mostly in an intuitive way. An intuitive way is good for the artist because that's drawing. Being an artist and being commercial artist are two things completely different. So you cannot mix this, and commercial artist needs to know really how to briefly build the dimensionality of forms and everything. And you have to be fast. You have to be performant, not like in fine arts that you can draw this kind of view for 3 weeks because you kind of going to search here and there, in your intuitive way. Commercial artists, you get the product, you get the idea, you get the order, and you have to satisfy the client. So you have to really be able to draw everything. So any kind of a form to draw, there is explained very well in my book. So to conclude, even if you don't know English very well, yes, everything is explained by the drawings. So if you follow the drawings, you're going to perfectly understand what you should do in order to get to the point I am getting. Yes, so it's not necessarily, if you little know English, at least you will kind of be able to follow this book and these instructions. Yes, so that's all what I would like to say about my book. It is new, as you know, it's just a few months ago I published it, and so it's still, of course, fresh, and it is a really good choice if you would like to really, if you're serious about learning, of course, realizing drawing skills. Yes. So thank you very much. Good luck with your practice, and smile and draw.